Hello, everybody, and welcome to a session of Kibi Talks, a live stream in which, this is a very test run for me. This is a very test run idea where there's gonna be times where there's just so much that happened in the week that I just really want to. I don't have enough time to make like content on everything, and who knows, I might actually port over a lot of things in this. And I'll talk about that a bit more in a moment, but just want to say hello, hope you are happy, hope you are well, hope you are healthy. Share this with a friend, bring them onto the stream, because it'd be fun to talk about this towards the end. This is going to be a session where we are going to talk about Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox. We get to talk about all three, the three kings, because there's some things to go over. Two small things with Nintendo, one potentially big thing with PlayStation, and definitely kind of like the keynote is going to be something about Xbox that happened recently. So we're going to talk about the three kings, but just right off the bat, want to say hello to Brady, Simon, and Hannah. Thank you guys so much for coming. I appreciate that you saw that smooth intro, Hannah. I appreciate that. And also let me know if there's any technical difficulties. I am going to be kind of toning in and out. I'm definitely going to be relying on the patrons. If you're watching this, thank you guys so much for being here. They are going to help me by posting in our Discord, which we have a Discord, that, just your messages throughout this conversation, I'm going to address them all towards the end instead of live throughout. So this is definitely going to be a fun thing for you to listen to while you grind in Persona 5 or beat Final Fantasy 7 again, because those games are thankfully still coming out. That's a tease for our number 3 topic. You get to see all the topics we're going to talk about in the description. But hope you're happy. Hope you're well. Hope you have a good weekend. Let's get to topic number 1. And as I use my studio mode thingy, our first topic today involves Mr. Nintendo. There's been talks that basically there is going to be a ton of Super Mario games ported to the Nintendo Switch because it is the anniversary of the game. Now, well, it's the 35th anniversary specifically. Now, this is not a confirmed thing. There's a lot of people that are saying like, dude, did you hear that this is happening and everything? This is not a confirmed thing yet. What is the exact situation, I will pull it up, is this comes from GameSpot.com as well as many other places, where Switch remasters of classic Mario's reportedly coming. Mario 64, Sunshine, Galaxy, and many more, to which, let me know in the chat what you're looking forward to most. And also leave me comments to address towards the end of the stream. But Nintendo Switch is apparently about to get a hefty serving of Mario, including several classic 3D games from the series past, and all new role-playing game, to which I'm sure it's talking about Paper Mario. Reported by VGC and Eurogamer, Nintendo is planning to release remastered Switch versions of Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario 3D World, Super Mario Galaxy as part of the franchise's 35th birthday collection. The remastered games will be coming from 4 different consoles, being 64, GameCube, and Wii U, and so on. They're talking about the 3D World one will essentially be like a deluxe edition like Super Mario Kart. There's also talk, I don't believe it's in this, that there's potentially going to be a Paper Mario sequel, which a lot of people have been begging for. And that would be monumental if that happened. Maybe not monumental, but And this is currently still a rumor. And I still don't buy rumors. I don't. That's just me. Leaks, rumors, whatever. I like speculation. Speculation is fun because guess what? They acknowledge that it's not real. Like, they acknowledge that this is just their opinion and so on. Now, what I'm sharing is my thoughts on this rumor, and let's just say if it were to be true, it'd be awesome. It'd be so freaking cool. And specifically, I think a Paper Mario game would be great because I hear, what was it called? Color Burst or whatever. It didn't do as well. But what a neat way to celebrate a 35th birthday. One of the big things I really was disappointed to hear this year was E3 getting canceled. A lot of things have been changing, which that'll be our topic number 3 today, as well as kind of 4. But E3 getting canceled, can you imagine if this was true? If all of a sudden we're going to be getting, tons of classic Mario games to the Switch? Can you imagine what the E3 booth would have looked like? It probably, I tell you what, I was at E3 for 2017. That was the one and only year I went. I went in as a consumer. I didn't get in as media, whatever. That's the dream. But the booth was awesome. It was decked out to be celebrating Super Mario Odyssey's release. The year before that, it was decked out to be celebrating Breath of the Wild. The year after that, I think they just had a very competitive Smash scene, you know? But this year would have been the year that maybe, like, you know, if this was true, just hypothetically, if this was true, that E3 booth would have been phenomenal. But anyways, so yeah, my opinion as to if this is legit or not, it's very possible. We are definitely overdue on a Super Mario 3D World Deluxe Edition. We are strongly overdue on that. No question. Like, to be honest, even if this is false, I am still 100% like at some point Super Mario 3D World Deluxe Edition is going to happen. If you don't know what that was, it was a great game for the Wii U. You should play it. I have it. I'm still working on the like post-game stuff. It's hard, but it's a super fun game. That's like, why isn't it on the Switch? Maybe they don't know how to work out the whole pad system. I don't know. But 64 and Sunshine specifically, and Galaxy, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, those would be awesome for the Switch. As well as tons of other Mario games. Who knows? Like they're listing the most mainstream Mario titles here. I'm sure there's a few other ones that people are really hoping for. But you know that Nintendo owns. Like I'm sure a lot of people would love to get Super Mario RPG for the Switch, but I think that's Square Enix's call. But this would be cool. That's mostly my conversation about it. This would be cool. I think it'd be great. My question to you in the chat that I want you guys to kind of discuss with each other here, as well as shoot me a comment, because again, my patrons, they're going to help me out by gathering these messages today, and then I'm going to hit them at the end. And then that's how you get my personal response. Do you think Nintendo would bundle this all together? Would Nintendo bundle a collection of Mario games ported to the Switch? Or would they try to monopolize that and make them each separate? That's my question to you. I don't think they would bundle them. My personal opinion, I don't think they would bundle them. I get the feeling it's like maybe they'll discount each or something, but like they're going to find a way for it not to be unfair, but yet not also pro-consumer. Like it's going to be somewhere in the middle where it's like, damn it, but okay, kind of a thing. I don't know what model that would be. I think it'd be cool if they had system bundles, like every Mario, like these couple Mario games for the 64, these couple Mario games for the GameCube, these couple Mario games for the Wii, you know, and they just kind of work their way through each system. I think that'd be kind of cool, but there's no way they do that. But yeah, I hope this is true. And another question to you I have in the chat is, what would you look forward to most of all these releases? For me, I think I would look forward to my friend Dom. If he watches this, he's very much been wanting a Sunshine port. I would love that too. I think my personal favorite that I would be looking forward to most is probably the Galaxy games, because I never got to finish the Galaxy games, and those games are really fun. They're awesome. In fact, I think Super Mario Galaxy 2 is like one of the 10 highest rated games on Metacritic, so I think I would say Super Mario Galaxy. But let me know what your thoughts are in the chat, but also if I port this over in the comments, and I would like to see those and chat with you about it. So, we need to head to our next topic. Oops, I need to mute that. See guys, this is a test stream. This is a test stream. Ignore what's going on right now. There we go. Ignore what's going on. This is a test stream once again. This is a test idea. So quick intermission. Just want to say, hope you're having a good weekend. And I see Nato is here. Simon, somebody's name, because Squidward. What is that? Matthew, Madsen, Jay Baker. Guys, thank you very much for coming. I just see really quick, the last two Paper Mario games sucked. Oh, jeez. I don't know about the last two, but Mario Zukage, I see separate. Okay. So I'm just taking a moment in between each topic to just skinder the chat. Is that a word? And say hello. But our next topic is one that I think is still with Nintendo. Yes, it is. I'm doing this very on the fly. This is why I need a assistant. Our next topic with Nintendo involves a recent announcement with Super Smash Bros. Why was an ARMS character the first character revealed in the Fighters Pass Volume 2? How did that happen? Why was that? This is an idea I definitely thought would be a good idea to talk about in a video. And I highly encourage everybody to check out a video, if I can pull it up here, why ARMS is coming to Smash Bros. Ultimate. This channel, they like to do these kind of storyboarding story times, whatever, for video games and like some news and stuff. It's a really interesting way of going about the news and like what the history of it is. But this video kind of breaks down why ARMS is coming to Smash Bros. And I encourage you to watch it. But one of the notes they say in the video is that ARMS was kind of always wanted to be in the game, which a lot of us would believe. Because at the time, you know, Sakurai, he got to play Fire Emblem early, he got to play Breath of the Wild early, and, you know, Odyssey, you know, he got to touch upon these things that Nintendo was working on before Smash released or during, you know. And that's one of the reasons why Byleth, I believe, didn't make it in to the main roster, is because just Fire Emblem wasn't far enough along for it to be an inclusion. And ARMS was in a similar state. And that's why he included it as an assist trophy and as, you know, spirits and stuff, which is great. You know, you got to include the franchise in some way. However, the Fighters Pass Volume 1 did so well that they started a Volume 2. So the question is, why was an ARMS character the first character to come to Volume 2? Well, I truly believe that they actually had the intent of having a much bigger character right off the bat. I truly believe that they had a much bigger character to do right off the bat to get people jazzed, just like Joker did and everything, and to really help sell the pass, because that's really important. The first character, the first of anything, you know, the first few seconds of your video, it's all super important to hook somebody to watch the whole video, to listen to your album, to get the movie or whatever. The trailer's got to sell the movie. So why would the first character be an ARMS character? I truly believe it's because these times have made it really hard for Sakurai to go around and meet up with publishers. In fact, he already said that in a tweet previously. He said because it's hard to get around, some characters might kind of get delayed development because we haven't been able to meet up with the publishers that they're owned for. You know what is owned in-house, though, by Nintendo? That would be ARMS. So what I personally think, and this is, I'm very curious to get people's takes on this. So patrons, please pay attention to the chat and shoot that in our Discord thing that I put. Donation messages as well. I think ARMS was so much easier to deal with in-house because it's a Nintendo property. And they intended ARMS to be on the pass. Like, that didn't change. They probably wanted to be later on in the pass. But what I think happened is that their first big character, they could not develop quick enough. And they needed to push it along to make way for a character that they know they could finish without needing to fly around the world and do these meetings and stuff and not have as much, you know, things like that. And that would be an ARMS character. And this is all the more adamant, like, okay, well, why would they reveal it in the way they did? A lot of people are like, why did they reveal it the way they did instead of just having a trailer for the character? Because it was so last minute. To go with this idea more, that trailer reveal for the ARMS character, instead of just saying who the character was, they're like, it's gonna be one of these guys, you know? And they don't have a cinematic trailer or whatever. It was the least impactful Smash reveal in the past few years. Ever since the Wii U, Nintendo has known that Smash character reveals are a big deal in their directs and reveals and stuff. It's a hype moment. But this reveal was not like any of those. So I really believe it's because they had to make the call. Very last minute, and they're like, look, we're not going to get, let's just say hypothetically, it's Dante, you know, we're not going to get enough meetings and stuff with Capcom going here to get Dante done in time. So I think you should just move on to whoever you thought was going to be character number 2 or 3. Like, who's our next runner? Like, who's our next Nintendo character in the lineup of Fighters Pass Volume 2? And Sakurai was like, well, it was going to be an ARMS character. And like, okay, well, let's do that first then. And that's what they did very last minute. And then if you even look at the trailer, they say, you know, I can even pull up right now, but they say, you know, like, we need to extend our development time. And that's probably why. We can pull up right now,
Smash
actually.
Brothers Ultimate.
I can pretty much prove this. Let's see. Just be quiet there. You see, because when they reveal this,
We'll have to
the fighters' arms can extend. They're like, we need to extend the development time. So when they did this, I think this is truly them just biding for time. That's essentially it. This reveal was biding for time, and they know they need to say something in Smash because of that mini direct that we got. But, you know, they needed to have some kind of Smash reveal, so this was their temporary patching up. And they needed to extend the development time to do so. To me, it just makes sense. To me, that just makes sense. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. But I truly believe that they had a big character in mind first, but they had to delay it. They couldn't finish that character in time, nor the next. So they're like, okay, look, for now, it sucks. It's not going to sell the pass, but we need to have a Smash reveal in this mini direct. We have to. So let's just do this for now. We didn't have the full reveal yet. We'll still put together a cinematic trailer, but we need more time to do that because this is a last minute turn and we're doing character number 3 first instead of, you know, them being third. So we had to, like, it kind of messed up their whole schedule. I truly believe it's what happened. But let me know what you think and the thoughts. Do you think that this was their original plan to have an ARMS character first? Or do you think the times messed with the order of the characters and they had to make this last minute adjustment? Let me know your thoughts in the comments and chat. All right. Let us see. Yeah, still have Brady, Simon here, and Marzukage. Thank you guys for being here. And our next topic that I'm going to be gathering all these messages at the end, or I should more so say my patrons are. I'll be scrolling through the chat as well. And of course, patron and donation messages I'm going to hit first because you guys are supporting this content in the channel and I immensely appreciate that. So I will hit those messages first. I don't have any alerts coming up during this stream, but I will take a look at my donations and patron messages first. And the public chat, patrons got you. They're gathering your messages for me and I appreciate that. So our next topic today, topic number 3, and this is a biggie. We are moving on from Nintendo. And if my boy Marzukage is still here in the chat, The Last of Us Part 2 got delayed. But not just delayed. This is the big reason why I wanted to bring this up. The Last of Us 2 did not just get delayed, it got delayed indefinitely. It did not get delayed because Naughty Dog said, look, development, we need more time to polish this. It got delayed because of logistics. Because of the times. And I gotta admit, like 3 out of 4 of these topics, the only one is the Mario one, but 3 out of 4 of these topics has to do with times and how the times are changing some things right now. And it was Sony Entertainment Interactive that made this call, where they needed to delay Last of Us 2, which has already been delayed once, which is pretty interesting. But this time we have no release date. We have no like new release date, you know, no estimate of release date, no call made whatsoever. It's just as simple as Last of Us Part 2 has been delayed for the second time indefinitely. And this came from both Naughty Dog and PlayStation, but PlayStation on their official Twitter page from Sony Entertainment Interactive, or Entertainment Interactive, you know, that's what that stands for, has made the difficult decision to delay the launch of The Last of Us Part 2 and Marvel's Iron Man VR as well until further notice. Logistically, the global crisis is preventing us from providing the launch experience our players deserve. Keyword. The global crisis is preventing us from providing the launch experience our players deserve. Naughty Dog also put out a message. This is very small. I need to expand it. But they said, as you've likely seen, the release of Last of Us Part 2 has been delayed. This news is disappointing to you as it is to us. We want to reach out to all of you in our community to give you a little bit more information. The good news is we're nearly done. That's what they say here. We're nearly done. We're in the midst of fixing our final bug. So that's good. The game is nearly done. However, Even with us finishing the game, we have faced the reality that due to logistics beyond our control, we couldn't launch The Last of Us Part 2 to our satisfaction. Well, we want to make sure everyone gets to play Last of Us Part 2 around the same time. That's very important. Ensuring that we're doing everything possible to preserve the best experience for everyone. This meant delaying the game until such a time where we can solve these logistic issues. Again, there's that phrase, logistic issues. We were bummed about this, but ultimately understood it's best and fair to all of our players. We're hoping this won't be a long delay, and we'll update you as soon as we have new information to share. We wish all of you, your families, and your friends the best of health. Thank you for being amazing fans and your continued support. Stay safe, Naughty Dog. So, the thing that's in common with both these messages is logistics and the times going on. And that would have potentially messed with, like they're saying, the launch experience of this game. Because who knows, maybe they would have got it out in time, technically. However, like Final Fantasy VII right now, a game that got released early, some places, and now everyone else in the world is trying to, even though in my opinion it's like a remake game, so why? But anyways, that's a different topic. But, you know, people are still seeing these images, clips, and stuff that they don't want to see because it's been released in other places in the world. Kingdom Hearts 3 got released in Japan 5 days early and then got leaked beforehand, and you know, it was an annoying experience. So I think this is a smart move. You know, I always think it's a smart move to delay anything as long as it means you're going to have a better product, as well as you know, you're making the consumers have the best experience possible. Like, this is a totally pro-consumer move. I know people, like, believe me, if I had a PS4, this would devastate me because this is the one PS4 game this year I personally am looking forward to a lot, even though I have one, and I'm wearing blue. But it's crazy how this happened, you know, because right now, Sony, they haven't had a first-party release in a minute. And now Ghost of Tsushima is next. And who knows if that game will release on time. But the delays and stuff, like Minecraft as well. Minecraft, you know, it's like the Gauntlet. Why do I forget the name of it? But you know what I'm talking about. There's like this Minecraft RPG game coming out that got delayed to May because of this experience. And you know, studios are having to work out of their homes. A lot of crazy shit's happening right now in terms of game development. But this, in terms of Sony, is really interesting because this game has been delayed twice now. There's no estimated release date for it. There's no, like, prediction. They don't want to say because they just don't know. You know, it's a very uncertain time right now. Like, when will this be a good time to release it? And plus, you know, there might be, I don't think they care about this there, but there might be the controversy of The Last of Us Part 2, you know, being the subject matter. Last of Us Part 2 is going to deal with a lot of infection and stuff, similar things, but way more, you know, hardcore. But I don't think that was the reason. I think it was purely just the logistics of it. They wouldn't be able to have a worldwide simultaneous release, and we can see the issues of that happening right now for Final Fantasy VII. The hype is still real, but, you know, it's just making the launch experience not as great. So I think this was a good call. And I'm confident Last of Us Part 2 is going to come out as a released game. Like, finished game. It's going to feel very polished, finished, no question, as Naughty Dog said in their update here. But I don't know, man. It makes me... Software is very, very important for every game system right now. And yeah, I don't know. I don't have too much like personal thoughts on this, just that I think it was a good move, and I'm very curious to see if this is just going to continue, you know, affecting the year, which understandably so. And what I'm curious from you, the chat, is do you think we'll still see Ghost of Tsushima in time? Do you think a lot of games are going to get pushed back because of this situation? And do you think this was the good call for Sony to do? Like, what if they could release it on launch day that they anticipated, but that was only in, like, Australia and this place, you know, like, it wasn't, you know, worldwide. They would have to sporadically release the game over the course of maybe a couple weeks or so. Let me know your thoughts in those comments. All right, one sip of water here, because this actually transitions perfect into the next topic. Thank you very much for being here, by the way. I appreciate you so much. And if you would like to squeeze in your comments, I don't know why I'm talking like Captain Kirk, then feel free to become a patron. I would really appreciate that, as well as donation messages. But our next topic is our final big boy. I'm just getting all ready. Okay, our final big boy. Software is very important for systems. These times are very interesting. And this is the main topic of this stream that I wanted to hit. Will next-gen consoles come out on time? Will the PS5 release on time? Will the Series X release on time? While we don't know that for certain, there's a lot of crazy shit happening in the world. A very amazing thing happened this week from the big bold company that continues to speak, show, keyword show, but to go as far as to have the president of that company speak with IGN twice this week. That would be big boy Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer spoke with IGN twice this week, once on the podcast known as Unlocked, which it's an hour-long conversation. I highly recommend you listen to it as like a podcast because it is insanely informative. Not like hard, solid things, but it's like, it's really interesting to hear the president of Xbox speak a lot about the COVID situation. Is this going to affect next-gen console release? What is he really looking out for in, his company right now? What potentially pricing is going on with the thoughts? How they're keeping in mind the Xbox One's launch, There's so much good information in this podcast that I don't know. Like every previous topic I've talked about for 8 to 10 minutes each. But this one, we're probably going to go a bit longer than that because there's a lot that he hit in this that also could apply to the whole PS5 versus Xbox Series X situation because it's pretty interesting stuff. He even speaks about, what his response to the PS5 reveal. It's seriously like really interesting stuff. So I highly recommend it first off to know the basis. I'll do my best to sum it up, but yeah. Ryan McCaffrey, who's the lead Xbox person at IGN, he got to have an hour-long conversation with Phil, and it's a great conversation. And they also had another episode of a show called Next Gen Console Watch, which I highly recommend also to get some context on all these things. I'll show you. Next Gen Console Watch, I highly recommend you keep watching this because this kind of sums up everything next gen console situations. And Big Phil even came onto that show. It was crazy. Even he came onto that. So it's just crazy. I can't believe that they managed to score that. And it was just like a Google call. But what came from this call? Well, many things. But right off the bat, the first thing that they needed to hit right away is the current COVID situation. How does the COVID situation affect, everything going on at Xbox? What's like, your Series X and your studios and everything. And they had that's like the solid first third of this podcast. And it's really interesting because I was very curious about that too. And Phil is talking insanely humbly. And he's saying primarily what's important to us right now is the safety of our teams out there. We have all of our teams working out of home now, and so far 343, for instance, is making good track with Halo Infinite, and our teams seem to be doing fine, but the thing is that we're adjusting on the fly. That's something he said in this, is that we're really adjusting on the fly. This is something I've never experienced before and am learning every day, how do we handle this situation and how does this affect certain things? He's very actively learning as the president of this company. The president of the Xbox division, I should say. Which is good, and it's understandable. You have to adapt as you go, and who knows? Maybe that's part of the reason why Sony's been silent, is that they just don't want to disclose anything because they're unsure. But here's Big Phil coming out saying, no, I am unsure. I'm going to fully admit that. He definitely said firmly that on the side of hardware, this is the biggest thing in this whole interview I personally find interesting. On the side of hardware, we should be fine. Certain Chinese factories are coming back, certain trades are coming back, and our consoles basically, assembled. We had Austin Evans and Digital Foundry coming to look at the console. In terms of hardware, we're ready to go. That's essentially what Phil's saying. In terms of hardware, even if it's like a limited release, we should be good to go for a worldwide release, which is interesting because Ryan McCaffrey, the guy who's talking with them, he asked the question like, well, what would you say if you had kind of a, you release in the US first, then Japan, then this place. And I love how freaking much Phil has learned from the previous Xbox One launch. Phil's talking about basically that there was so much to learn from the Xbox One launch. And he says one of the biggest things that disgusted him, he said this not in this podcast, but way back, is that our fan base in Japan is just non-existent. And we really want to fix that. And one of the biggest reasons we didn't have a fan base in Japan for the Xbox One is because we launched it there like 9 months late. 9 weeks or 9 months, I can't remember. But we launched it insanely later than we did it at home. And we can't make that mistake again. So it's like, in his mind, it's really important to have like as close of a simultaneous worldwide release as possible. That's something he said in this interview. And just hardware-wise, though, he admits that it's possible, but right now he's trying not to think of a plan B. Like, he has no... He's not necessarily confident in it, but he's just trying to adapt on the fly, which is a risky move, optimistic move, but it seems like his head is in the right place and his heart. The big thing he is admittedly unsure of, though, that again, Ryan McCaffrey's doing a great job asking these questions, is, Phil, what if your games are potentially delayed? What if your games aren't tracking well? What if they, they're just a little bit behind? Just a little bit behind. And Big Phil was, I don't know why I keep calling him Big Phil, but Phil admits that that's the biggest thing that he's a little bit scared of right now. Not scared, but just like if there's a big worry other than the state of the world, it's the studios, because he wants them to be safe, and also to be sure that they release the software that they intend, that they don't shortcut things, and that they release the game the way they intended it, and that it is a solid release, because Phil and Ryan McCaffrey talked a lot about the importance of the games. That was another thing they talked about. They talked about just how games is they even talked about, like how Sony leads that faction, and that like this wasn't in the podcast, but this was in Next Gen Console Watch. They said, on our IGN poll, it says like 46% are for PS5 and 27% is for Xbox. And then the rest was like for both or whatever. And Phil's like, that makes sense, like our competition has done a great job. And he did use the word competition every now and then, but he meant it in such like a friendly way, he just admits factually it is technically their competition kind of a thing. But he's like, yeah, our competition, they've done such a good job of earning their fan base and really doing great by releasing great games with their system. And that's why this go around, we really want to do our best to try to earn, our audience's trust back. He admits like the Xbox One's launch was a messy launch that focused on cable and TV and just certain messaging that wasn't about gamers. But now he's just all about, I want to focus on the gamers. And in order for us to earn that trust back, instead of having this is another keynote, instead of having a big release of a lot of launch games, like not just Halo Infinite, but let's just launch this studio game, this thing, like let's have like 5 releases at launch. He's more concerned about the continuous stream. He doesn't want to have a big catalog of games instantly. He wants it to be continuous to give people a reason to stick around. I personally think that's smart. I really do. And plus, like, and he also admits this, and I think this is actually true. Take me, for instance. Like, Animal Crossing and Doom Eternal came out at the same time, but I could only buy one, so I bought Doom Eternal. And that's kind of how it is. Like, he brings that up. Like, sometimes when we have multiple games coming out at the same time, people only buy one and then forget the other. So I think that's a good approach. That's a good approach to have a continuous stream, kind of like Sony is currently, where they intended, at least, for, Last of Us to be in, it was originally February, right? Yeah, February, and then Ghost of Tsushima in summer. And then maybe they had like a fall release planned, or just 2 or 3 for the PS5. Who knows? That's a good way to go about it. Just spread it throughout the year. Have like a main release every couple months. And that's what Xbox is looking to do. They want to have a main big release every like 4 or 5 game releases over the year. Big ones, at least, AAA status. So I don't know. It just seemed like a really good talk. There's a lot of things that Phil talked about. But the biggest thing he's concerned about in terms of launching the Series X is the studios and if they will be able to finish the games that they need. However, this is the only thing that I'm a little bit worried about. And I'm curious about your thoughts. He says that there's nothing that is going to delay the system in terms of software. We will not delay the Series X if, we don't have the software for it. And that makes sense. It depends. I think if PS5, we have no idea about PS5. This is just Phil talking about Series X. But if PS5 does not delay their console, they can't delay the Series X. There's no way. Like, it's so important. Like he talked about Japan. It's so important to be released the earliest or next to your competition. And so if PS5 still comes out in the holiday season, which they're saying, not as boldly as Microsoft is, but they are saying it, then they can't delay it. And if they don't delay it, there's still a great catalog on it because they have the best, they have way more backwards compatibility than PS5 does. PS5, you can still play a great majority of the PS4 games at launch, but the Series X, you could not only play every single Xbox One game, but also a great list of 360 and originals. So there's already a great, thing to start the system with. However, I think it's insanely important that this system launches with Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite is so deadly important for the Series X to launch with. And Halo Infinite is one of the most important games for Xbox right now. Because that is their Mario. That is their God of War. That is their flagship. That the past 2 entries, like the mainline entries, have gotten good reviews, but not great. They've been good games. They've gotten 8s, I think a 9 somewhere, but mostly like 8 out of 10s. That's good. But they haven't gotten that prestigious 9/10 out of 10s that the Bungie games did. So Halo Infinite is insanely important for Xbox Game Studios to nail. And 343's been working out of home. They've been working out of home. They're saying they're on track. However, development studios, for big game releases these days, they require motion capture. You can't do motion tracking at home. You can't do motion capture at home. You can't get your big studio with your various camera people and sound gear and whatnot. You can't have that right now because that's a bigger gathering. So it's going to be very interesting to hear if Halo Infinite, because he seems to acknowledge he doesn't want any of his teams to be rushed, which is good. He doesn't want any of his teams to be releasing a game that's really shortcutted. However, if that means he's willing to let Halo Infinite be behind the Series X's launch, that is going to hurt. That is going to hurt so bad. So I don't know. That's the only concern I have. Because, that was one of the things that helped sell Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild was available on Wii U and the Switch. Halo Infinite can be available on the One and Series X. But if it's not available for the Series X at launch, then I don't know. So it's just a really interesting interview. There's a lot of things I'm leaving out. I highly recommend you listen to it, truly. But it's what I personally love is that Phil just talked as openly as he possibly could about how their platform is doing, how the Series X's launch is coming along, how does COVID affect things, what's his studios up to, how much he cares about, the consumer and also the studios themselves releasing and consuming great games, and the lessons that he learned from the One as well, the One's launch. He learned so much from that, and it's such an interesting talk. And it still reassures me. I know there's going to be some of you that are listening or watching this that disagree, but I'm just saying Xbox is fucking killing it. Sorry, I'm swearing, but Xbox is killing it in terms of just being open and talking to not even just their fans, but just everybody. They don't care. They're proud of it. They talk about that in the interview too. It's just like, we're just proud, and he admits that we need to earn our fans back too, because they had a great fan base for the 360, and they're trying to earn it back, and they're doing such a great job of doing that. But will that make anybody turn chip? So that is my question to you. What do you think about the Series X's launch and the PS5s? Do you think either of them will be delayed? And what do you think about the idea of the Series X not being able to launch with Halo Infinite? I don't know, man. I'm curious about your thoughts. Leave me those in the comments in the chat below. However, those are the 4 main topics that I really wanted to hit. But now is the portion of the show that I'm going to check my Patreon Discord as well as stream labels to see if there was any donation messages as well as patron messages to have me hit. There's surprising no. All right, well, I guess I have to scroll back. Guys, my patrons, they didn't leave the messages in our Discord, so dang it, I have to scroll back. Oh, well. Okay, so let me see here. So this will be the part of the show where I interact with you guys in the stream and see what you said. No donations either. Okay, so this will be very interesting, and now I have to very much spitball this and scroll back. Okay. So, let's see. So I guess Simon, I miss Super Mario Sunshine. Simon, I definitely miss Super Mario Sunshine. Mario Sunshine is very iconic to me. That was definitely one of my favorite GameCube games. I just feel like I want to see a remaster of that game more than just a port of it. I don't know why. Like, I feel like seeing that game, with its like water and its paint and stuff. Well, it wasn't paint, but you know what I mean. It's such a interesting idea for it to be remastered to me. But anyways, Brady earlier said for the Mario games, I doubt it will be a bundle. Yeah, I'm with you, Brady. I don't think that it will be a bundle. It'd be too much of a steal. Marzukage is here as well. He said separate for the Mario deal. Hunt Kidori. Brady, I can see Galaxy 1 and 2 being a bundle, or the Paper Mario games in a bundle. Yeah, I think that's the fairest thing, is to try to, well, I don't know, because they have to consider, what's the equal value here? What's the equal, what's just fair? What's fair in terms of these bundles? Like, it might be weird to bundle certain 64 games together against Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 because those are newer. I don't know. That's a curious thing. Let's see. Marzukage. By the way, Jay Baker, it's good to be here. Thank you for being here, buddy. I would love Sunshine and 64, but Paper Mario is also really fun. There's also speculation that another Paper Mario could be in development. Again, only speculation. Yeah, see, that whole Mario bit was just rumors, really. Well, it must have been reported somewhere. Like, I don't exactly know what the source of it is, but it just got passed around so much that I'm like, okay, so there must be a reason people talk about this. But yeah, part of that speculation was it adding another Paper Mario game to the franchise, which could have been like their big release for this year, for the winter season or holiday season. To which that would be great. I know a lot of people have been caving for that, and it made trending on Twitter at one point. So, Okay, so now we're at the point of the Smash reveals. Brady says it was a super anticlimactic reveal, super lame. See, and yeah, in terms of the reveal for the ARMS character, it was lackluster. I 100% agree. Like, I'm personally happy. Like, I have a video about that. You know, I'm personally happy about the ARMS character inclusion. However, the reveal is very lackluster. And I really think it's for the reasons I said. They had to make a last minute change, and that mini direct couldn't go they couldn't go any longer without having a Smash reveal. Like, a Smash reveal, I get the feeling it's like tradition at this point. If there's a Nintendo Direct, there's got to be a Smash reveal in it. Like, I think that's just what's gonna happen. So they had to have something. So yeah, with that last minute change and them needing one, I think that's what happened. Simon, I haven't thought about it in that way. Yeah, I think so, man. It's just very... Right now, the logistics of things are just changing things up and down. Pretty. Like, oh, by the way, here's a new character, sort of. Yeah, that's true. Like, it's just like, sort of. It wasn't an exact reveal. It was just kind of sort of, yeah. Simon, I think the situation, what's going on in the world, changed the order of the fighters. Yeah, I think so. I really do. To me, it's the only thing that makes sense, because I don't think they would have made a reveal like that unless things had to get delayed, you know. And I think they also learned from the Byleth reveal, you know, like there's nothing wrong with having a Nintendo character. The ARMS character has been much more well received than Byleth, but it's the reveal that people are kind of like, but yeah, I think the state of the world definitely messed with the reveal of that character and who the first character was supposed to be. Cody Petite. That is great insight. I could totally see your theory being real. I will subscribe to it more if the next fighter is third party. I like that expression, by the way, Cody. I will subscribe to it more if the next fighter is third party. Yeah, and I'm strongly on the belief that this Fires Pass will have three Nintendo characters and 3 third parties. I don't think it's going to be a majority third party this go around. I think it's going to be, instead of a third Nintendo, 2/3 third party. I think it's going to be half and half. But yeah, it just seemed really weird for the Nintendo character to be the first one, you know, so. Marzukage, no, don't remind me. Oh no. Yeah, but definitely sucks. Okay, so this is all for the Last of Us Part 2 delay. Yeah. Yeah, Kage. I know Kage here is looking forward to that most. Renato, yep, it definitely sucks. And Brady, yeah, this is probably the lamest news so far. I'm pretty freaking sad. But I think this is 100% COVID related. Yeah. So yeah, the disappointment's real for the PlayStation community right now, because I'm willing to bet, you know I have a lot of Squeenix fans and anime people and stuff, but I am firmly saying that Last of Us Part 2 is the most anticipated release in terms of, you know, Sony games. No question. Like, in terms of what's available on PlayStation 4 this year, no question Last of Us Part 2 is the number one, you know, thing. For that, you know, it's between Last of Us Part 2 and Cyberpunk 2077. So this definitely hurts people. And it also hurts them that they don't even get, you know, an estimate of when this next date is. That sucks. But they just don't know. They just don't know what's the safest call to make right now. So, I don't know, man. I definitely think, well, I don't even think, like, the way they phrase it, they know. Even the official Sony tweet, they said, you know, it's because of what's going on right now. So yeah. Let me see. Jay Baker, it's crazy The Last of Us Part 2, that it's crazy. Okay. Oh, definitely Brady. So I think this fire stuff blows. We will get the release date. All right. So Brady said, I think when this virus stuff blows, that's when we'll get the release date. I personally don't think they have that luxury. I don't think that's a possibility at all, because I might be a little bit bold here in saying this, but I really think that the gaming market right now, Phil talked about this actually. Phil talked about this in their conversation. He talks about how the market has been so much higher lately, in terms of their Game Pass memberships. Their Game Pass memberships have stocked up. The amount of people on their servers has stocked up. You know, a lot of things have gone up in this time. Oh, I wonder why. And it's because, you know, of the state of play of things and how, you know, just the world is changing and things, and people are stuck at home, and gaming is a great way to pass the time when you're at home. So I don't think that they can wait to... I don't know. I don't think that they are going to wait until this whole thing blows over, because that could be months. That could maybe even be a year. God, I hope not. But, you know, it's going to be a while before this completely blows over. And I really think that, I don't know. I don't know when we'll know when the next release date is going to be. But there's even talk about some people saying maybe they're just going to wait for the PS5's launch and make it available on both systems. I don't know, man. Let's see. Renato, yep, I think it's best course of action considering it will give the most ease of access. Yeah, I definitely think it's the best course of action, Renato, with buying the game on day one. Yeah, yep. Because who knows? Like, I hear there's people that are struggling right now to, you know, my buddy pre-ordered Doom Eternal, and he got it shipped from Amazon. He couldn't get it on release day, so he had to get it digitally. I hear the same thing or something is happening with Final Fantasy VII. I admit, we have our Discord for it. I've been tuning in and out of it, but I have been seeing something about Final Fantasy VII where they're saying, you know, something about they can't ship physical copies or something. I don't know what the dealio is, but the point being, it is affecting the release of things. So, I don't know. It's gonna affect the launch of the game, so for sure I can see that. Yes, thank you, Simon. Minecraft Dungeon, is it really Dungeon? I think it is Dungeon. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that game. That actually looks really cool. Hannah, I seriously think more games release date are going to be pushed back. Yeah, and I think they should, to keep the quality of the game. I really think that's important, to not compromise. And that's why I love that Phil talked about that. You know, we don't want to have any shortcuts to our games. Like, obviously we hope they finish in time, but, you know, we realize it's very important to release great games for the system. It's funny because even in that podcast, they talked about Sunset Overdrive by Insomniac. And that game was a great game. That's a very underplayed game. That's an Xbox exclusive. But people really skipped out on it because, like Phil said, you know, when the time passes for a game, not as many people will buy it. And that game was caught in a bad time for the Xbox One. Not as many people were touching the system. And so, yeah, the timing of releases is so important, and the quality of those releases are important to go with it. Renato, I think we can't flatten the curve soon. Then they just might. I'm not sure if I can relate what the context of that was. Steffi, hello. Thank you for coming. Right now, I think it's a good call and would understand if more game releases are pushed back, but at least I hope they'll still be released by the end of the year. I think anything that was supposed to come out before June this year, I feel like I don't want to say safe, but I feel like we can confidently believe that they will be released before the end of the year. But that's why I'm very concerned about Halo Infinite, because that was supposed to be launched simultaneously with the Series X. And they're working out of home right now. And I don't know, man. I don't know. It's very... I just hate the idea of any games getting, you know, just their quality getting pushed down because of the situation. It sucks, dude. Simon, I think Sony... Where is it? I think Sony PS5 may get delayed. Yeah. I mean, see, that's the thing. Until Sony gets more bold about them speaking out and talking about things, that's my assumption right now. Like, I don't have confidence in Sony right now. I have confidence in their games. I have total confidence in their games. But I don't have confidence in their marketing plan and their launch and just what they're doing. They're not doing anything to really make their fans, including potential new fans like me, you know, they're not doing anything to really make us feel certain that their launch is going to be big, that it's going to be successful, that we have things to look forward to with it, and that it is on track. You know, they're not like freaking the president of the Xbox division just gets on these public podcasts. The goddamn man himself, Phil Spencer, gets on to talk about it. Like, I don't know, man. But I don't think I don't think they'll delay the PS5. But if one of the two did, I would say the PS5 is in a bit more production standpoint in a hurdle. Katie, oh shoot, sorry, Keys, my internet had problems. Well, there's Katie. Why do you think so? Yeah, I see the messages from Nato. I'm expecting Nato to have the defense for the PlayStation 5. You can always count on Nato to come in to defend the PS5. I think speaking hardware-wise, PS5 is not done polishing their system, and we just haven't heard much from Sony, but it's just a guess. I hope it doesn't get delayed. Yeah, it's just a guess. And then Nato says, personally, I don't think Sony wants to say anything until games, the console, are absolutely ready. I mean, there's always a chance of a delay, but I'm not worried about it just because they haven't indicated as much. Yeah. And I hope, like, I had a podcast about this with Quest Mode and Low Key Matt, and it went on for a bit too long, but it was a great conversation, and we talked about how in the end people are still going to get the PS5, and in the end the PS5 will probably have a great game or two at launch. And what the hope is that they're just going to have one massive blowout. It's just going to be a huge freaking explosion of greatness. And instead of it being spread out throughout the year, which I forgot to talk about, by the way, another part of that Xbox presentation is that he got asked, like, it wasn't a presentation, it was a call. He got asked, you know, now that you feel like you have any more to talk about hardware or anything, like, or are you just going to move on to the games now? And he's like, yeah, you know, we have a couple things to talk about in the hardware in the future, but right now we've kind of talked about everything that we wanted to primarily. So now at basically any event that we're going to be at or be able to speak at, we want to reveal something about our games. Like at this point forward, we kind of want to just focus on our games now, which great. That's what I'm sure the normal consumers are waiting for. Whereas Sony, I think they're just going to have one massive, just like all at once. Like just, you won't be able to handle it because it'll be all at once instead of getting it throughout the year. But it's like, it's just still, it's a really risky move that I personally don't think is smart, but that's just me. It's going to be awesome, though. When that moment hits, it's going to be awesome. But if that moment doesn't happen, oof. Simon, I think Series X coming out without Halo will be something to see if that happens. Yeah. If there needs to be a really important game to launch with your system. It doesn't have to be exclusive. Look at this. Look at the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch, I believe, became like the fastest selling console. I don't know of all time, but like of our generation for sure. It sold insanely fast. Breath of the Wild was not an exclusive to that system. It was available for the Wii U. But regardless, there was a big release available for that system at launch. And that is great. You know, whether it's exclusive or not, it's just great to have a big release that's only available on that platform at launch. And so Halo Infinite's that's a great launch title. And if it can't be a launch title, that is, I don't know, man, that's going to be really, really scary. Nato, like I said, I think Phil is doing this because of how the Xbox One launched. Yeah, which I talked about previously. I give him credit for being honest and open, but I think it was necessary for Xbox to be open, as Phil said. Yeah, and that's what he's doing. Yep. Now, on Sony's side, I think they'll have their reveal when they have everything ready. Yeah. It just, to me, doesn't exude confidence. That's all. It just doesn't exude confidence or pride. You know, it doesn't exude those two things. It, to me, comes off as very passive, and that's the nutshell. Simon, oh, it's a mess. Rip, what? Thank God I pre-ordered on digital. Oh, the Final Fantasy VII thing, okay. Juan's got this. Hello. I mean, that'll be good for Sony. I love them, but I'm pretty sure they didn't have much at hand anyway, so this is in a way is a blessing in disguise for them. I'm definitely, at this point, the chat's definitely fallen behind in terms of sporadic. We're going to be wrapping this up in a moment, guys. I need to double check, by the way. Has there been any patron? Nope, there was not any patron focus messages. And no, let me double check if there was a donation at all. There was. By the way, how's this stream been? This is just an idea that I kind of want to hit in the future. Okay, there was no donations either. So, okay. So, yeah, I like this idea, but we're going to start wrapping up here in a moment. But let's see. Jay Baker, or Juan's got the skate. I mean, Jay Baker, even. I see Marzukage here. I will most likely go digital, but I pre-ordered the physical deluxe edition of Final Fantasy VII, and it just sucks that I'll be missing out on that steelbook case. Yeah, see that, and that's probably why. That's probably why. Last was Part 2. They're worried about that exact circumstance happening. Where people are skeptic. They can't get the game the way that they want. It's a good call. Okay, so. Another thing from Marzukage. Regarding everything going on, though, it's understandable in order to polish the game further, as well as for the game's sales not to be affected. Yeah. Okay. Oh, dang. Simon. Oh, yes. I will buy a PS5. Yeah. That's the thing. The polls show. Like, yeah. Let me see. Marzukage, yeah, they did it for mainly people in Europe, but yeah, some individuals in the Americas will unfortunately not get the game on time. Yeah, that hurts. Talking about Final Fantasy VII. Do you think they will delay Avengers? Do you think they will delay Avengers Square Enix game? That is already confirmed. That was part of that tweet, Jay Baker. The Avengers Square Enix game got delayed as well. It got delayed alongside the Last of Us Part 2. So, yeah, both those games got delayed because of their launch. Simon says, I love to say that, by the way. Simon says, I love this talk show. Well, thank you. Thank you very, very much, Renato. I think it's great. You should do more of these, Keebs. I definitely would love to. I definitely did this show as the idea to, I don't know, like, in the end, I would like to be able to do this every week, have a guest on as well to kind of, because it's more fun when I've been listening to a lot of podcasts lately, and it's nice when you get to listen to two people kind of spitballing. You actually get to listen to a discussion because you're not having to listen to just one voice the whole time. It adds a bit of variety, like just cutting away to B-roll. It adds variety. But that's kind of for your ears. It's nice when you hear two different voice frequencies. So I hope I can get some guests and do this more often, and also hopefully there'll be support on the shows as well. Like today we didn't have any like donation messages or anything for me to like elaborate on, but in the future when more stuff like that happens, especially, that lets me know that this is a great show idea, and the likes on it as well, and people sharing it and bringing in people, like there's ways of knowing that this will be a great thing in the future. This is mostly if there's a lot of topics in my head that I'm just like, I don't think I can do a video about all of these right now. So yeah, I'm glad you guys like this though. Juan's got this. Yeah, it's far back for me, Kibi, like a minute or two, but I enjoy these. Thank you very much, Juan. Appreciate that, man. I like these kind of videos, Keebs. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Jay Baker. Hopefully, somehow you do end up getting it soon. Marzukage discussions will be fun. Yeah, it'd be nice to get you on this, Kage. Like, that'd be fun. Like, pretty much anybody in that Smash tournament I called in. It'd be fun to just talk with any of you guys about this stuff. True dat. Well, I really want to try Avengers game, but I think they made good choice. Yeah. Hannah, this was fun. Thank you very much, Hannah. So, yes, those are my thoughts on the various topics today. Being, I definitely think the highlight of everything was, I strongly, even if you're a PS5 person, I strongly recommend you to look up IGN Unlocked and listen to their most recent podcast, Talking with Phil, because it's really insightful. It's a really interesting, just hear any president, whether it's Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft. It's really interesting to hear such a higher up talk about the state of the world right now, and what their outlook is. And he also talked about the PS5 too, and in a very respectful way. He's like, it was really cool to see what they got, and the interviewer was trying to fish out of him. Do you feel confident still? And he's like, what's he gonna say? No, but he's like, no, they have a great system, and I'm really proud of what we did, especially after watching what they did. I really encourage you to check that out. And also, would love for you to tweet me any of your thoughts about that, The Last of Us Part 2's delay, what you think, if I'm right about the ARMS character not meaning to be the first one for the Virus Pass Volume 2, and if they intended for a bigger character, but things pushed that. And what would be the thing you look forward to most from Super Mario Odyssey, the potential idea of Mario games coming to the Switch. And I just appreciate you guys so much for coming, and I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I hope you're staying healthy, hope you're staying safe, and don't forget to be geek, be proud, and be awesome.